Okay, so here we are. We're ready to do the actual rebacking process, which surprisingly enough will take much less time than almost any of the previous procedures we've gone through. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere the spine strip to the tube. I could leave it as it is, but just for fun, and sometimes I do this, it just feels right. You can pare the edges of the spine strip too if your knife is in good shape. Let's see if I can do it. There we go. Doesn't have to be much. It just kind of fares it out a little bit. Makes the edge go away. At least that's how I rationalize it. It's also fun. Nice to know you can pare stuff other than leather. You get these cute curly cues. Oops. Okay, now we're good to go. So I'm going to paste this. Actually, I'm going to PVA this. I'm going to adhere this with PVA. You'll notice this guy has worked out as papers want to do, but there's a way to deal with that. I'm going to line this up along the edge of the shoulder and make sure I'm going to align my bottom board and then kind of line my top board up to it to make sure that my tube is at the, lines at the head and the tail, and I just moved the phone. Sorry about that. Okay. And then I'm going to take my piece of damp cotton, which I have here for working with my leather. Push it down a little bit. This is a handy thing to know because if you're especially cardstock warps away, if you can damp the outside of it, it will just warp it back. Oops. Okay. The last, or the next step is, no, I'm going to put that aside. I will show you the next step in a moment. Let me grab this other text block. I'll just do these. This one's already been paired. Again, line up the bottom board, head to tail. Glue up the strip. Dead air. The bane of all broadcasting. Ouch. Okay, this is being a problem. I apologize. I hope nobody's getting seasick out there. Line that up, line that up. I think it'll be okay. This one actually might be a little bit high. All right. Let me just hop up and readjust my phone, make sure everything's relatively straight. Okay, we're good. So now I'm going to paste out the spine, but I'm only the spine leather, but I'm only going to paste the center. I'm not going to paste the turn ends yet. I have had enough problematic experiences with rebacking in the past that I know if I try and do it all in one shot, things just don't go as well as if I be a little patient, basically adhere the new leather to the spine and the sides, leave the turn-ins until it's firmed up a bit, and then do the turn-ins. I just have much more success. So the other thing that you, of course, probably know, and if you don't, you need to paste out the leather several times. What you're trying to do here is fill the pores of the leather from the inside out. Because if you don't do that, the spine may not adhere as firmly as it should. So this needs to be pasted out and then needs to sit, and then it needs to be repasted. And over here on the other side, I'm going to do my other spine, and that can be soaking while we work on the first one. Okay. Now, while these guys are, marinating, as it were, I can open the tube, which you need to do to allow for the turn-ins. Okay, you see that? I'm just gonna open that up a little bit, maybe an inch. Probably doesn't need to be that much, but I prefer to do this immediately before covering. You can do it sooner, but then the ends of the tube can tend to kind of bow outwards, which isn't a huge problem, but it can give you a little bit of an irk. Oops. Well, that's not very good. Okay, that's a do as I say, not as I do moment. I also got a piece of paper on here. This is why you have a utility knife hanging around, so you can pick stuff up off of what you're working on. One more layer, I think, should do it. Sometimes you can see if the leather has soaked through, but this guy is not going to tell us anything. So let me paste the other side, the other strip, and then we'll go ahead and give it a shot. All right. You know what? I'm just going to open this other one up while I'm standing here. Okay. So I'll do it again. Goes in between the layers of the tube. Oops. Okay. When I'm doing this by myself, the performance aspect is much less critical. Open up. You know what? Here. Not this anymore. I would also not be working over top of my pasted out leather. Yeah, that's all right. Once again, we're good to go, I think. All right, so now I'm going to get rid of this. Move my newsprint out of the way. And line up my boards. Okay, the text blocks lined up with the paste downs, which will tell you where it used to be, where it should be. Isn't necessarily where you think it should be. All right, so now I'm ready. See if I can get that up. Everybody see? No. All right, I have to do it. Hold it. Okay. Folder. Go. There we go. And of course, the advantage of using paste here is that you have lots of working time and lots of ability to shift things around until you get them the way you want them. Now, got my cotton ball, water. This has a bit of a surface on it, so I'm not sure how much the moisture is going to penetrate in, but it also kind of serves as a lubricant when you rub it down, so it never hurts. Okay, at this stage, I should be wearing an apron, but I'm not. Oops, and I'm getting my head in the way a lot. We can kind of pull this down firmly. There we go. And I'm gonna rub it down one more time. And then I'm going to put it aside. Sometimes, I may do that today. If you have, I scored a bunch of 2-ply museum board a couple of years ago, which is expensive, but is also really great for all kinds of things, including, I actually use it as blotters sometimes. I'll cut 2 pieces and put them on a pressing board, and then it's a more even surface than actual blotting paper. And it protects the book and doesn't alter its surface as much as like blotter would do. Okay, so now this is the stage at which I'm going to stop now with this volume. All right, so it's projecting beyond the edge of the pressing board so that air can circulate. I've got it weighted so it can't move around. I've got everything lined up the way I think it should be. So I'm going to put this volume aside. And we're ready to do the next volume. This one's got a binder's ticket in it, if you can see, which is kind of cool. All right, same deal here. To line up with the paste downs. Okay, put that there. The weight on it. Going to paste out this spine strip one last time because it's been sitting for a few minutes. Okay. Okay. As I said, if I were doing this for myself, I wouldn't be working quite like this, but it'll be pretty close. I might tend to put the spine on and press it down as an initial, in the initial stage. But since I want you guys to see what's going on here, there we go. Gotta work it under. Now, I'm fortunate in that the old leather here is really pretty solid, and so it accepts the amount of fussing that I'm doing without deteriorating even further. And if you've ever tried to work with old dusty calf, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And there are times, as much as I prefer to preserve the original binding in as many, you know, in pretty much as many cases as I can, there are times when you just have to bite the bullet and use all new material. Not often, you know, but a lot of late 19th century leather, early 20th century calf especially, can get really, really funky. And it doesn't respond well to much other than a Red Rock cocktail, which, you know, is a tool of last resort, but is a valuable tool. Okay, so now we are at this stage. Leather's on, attached to the boards and the outside of the tube. Going to let these guys dry for a couple hours. We'll come back and do the turn-ins, and then session after that, we'll pretty much, there'll probably be 2 videos after this, and then these books should be finished. So thanks again. Thanks for coming and looking at the videos, and I will be back shortly. Take care.